I'm back. Well, what have we got today? Well, I've got the guitar neck that we've seen so far. This is section 6 of creating your perfect guitar. And what we've got here is the water-based dye. And the thing about water-based dye, in case you didn't know, if you just go and spray over the top of this willy-nilly, you can get problems with the dye having problems and not drying or mixing in and going funny and all sorts of, well, side effects. That's how I describe it. So what you have to do, just don't go and just blast everything all over it. What you've got to do is you've got to seal it some way. And there's one or two bits and pieces out there that you can go and find and give this a quick coat, and it'll stop any reaction between the dye and whatever top coat you use. And I think that's a good way of doing things, don't you? Now, nobody's taught me any of this. I've had to go and sort of look around and hope hope that it works, and my guess is it probably will work. So as I said, this video is all about sealing off this this neck, and you can maybe just see in the corner over there the actual body that we're going to also cover in this video. So this is the sand, well, they call it a sanding sealer, but it's not quite what you think. It's a way of sealing that off. Now, after digging around for ages, this is what I found. It's a shellac, a type of shellac based sealer, because apparently shellac is one of these compounds that stops anything above it from reacting. Sounds like a really good plan. You don't want it bubbling up and things, do you? So this one is the one I chose. It's called Rustin's Sanding Sealer, and it says here, ideal for turnwood and marquetry. Shellac-based seal used to seal wood before waxing for a professional finish. Well, it does more than that. You've got to shake it, by the way. This product contains pure shellac and alcohol with special additive to facilitate sanding when dry. It should be used to seal the surface prior to polishing and waxing, but is often used as a finish in its own right. Well, as it dries to a hard, clear film, sanding sealer should be able to use seal-penetrating wood dyes, yes, to prevent them bleeding when varnishes and the rest are put over the top. And that's the bit that we'll be using this for, to seal off these water-based dyes. It sounds like a plan, it sounds like the right product. It might not be, it might come out wrong. But what I'm going to do is, I'm basically going to do the back of this first so we can have a look and a quick chat about that, and then I'll do the front and let it dry, and then we'll go on to the next video. Hold on. Okay, well, what I think you're going to need is some t-shirt. I stole this one from the wife, which I think is quite good. You obviously need the Rustin's Sanding Sealer. There it is. Big shakes. Yeah. You need the thing you're going to be coating, and you need to do a very light coat of that. And of course you need some gloves. Yeah, that's important. Lastly, you know, just for safety, get something on your table, because when your missus finds out, oh my God, are you going to be in trouble? So I'm going to put these on now. I'm going to give this a coat on the back. I might even do the front at the same time, but whatever it is I do, we'll come back up and have a quick chat afterwards. Okay, you can see I've got the gloves on. Here we go. I've got some pieces of t-shirt, and I've got the Rustins, which we're going to get down to now. By the way, this does take about an hour and a half to dry, they say. I don't really care about that because I've got plenty of time. If I can open the lid. There we go. And I'm going to be speeding this up anytime soon. So you won't hear much chatting or anything. I'll be just getting on with it until I've got a finished job. It sounds like a plan. And as you can see, it does come off, so you've got to rub it very, very lightly. You can see, otherwise you're going to have a problem. Okay, well there you have it. That was a very quick coat. And if you noticed, I didn't actually coat the front of the fingerboard because I don't find that that's necessary. It's usually just what I think is where the dies are, and that'll take an hour and a half or so to dry. I'm now going to move that out the way while it does dry, and then I'm going to have a coat of the body with the very same material, about the same sort of thickness, just so that it covers it and seals off that ink, that water-based ink. And that's a very, very important aspect of what you're going to do next, which will be the top coats, and that should ensure that we don't encounter much problems along the way after that. You do want it to come out well, don't you? So I'm going to go and do that now. Probably won't be doing any talking while I'm doing it, but you'll probably get to see it as we go, and it might be speeded up and stuff like that. And if there's any problems, well, there's problems. I've never done this before in my life. Have you? Probably not. This is why you should be having a go. It's all great fun. Anyway, watch and learn, or not. Or watch and learn how not to do it. We'll see, won't we? And don't forget, when it's done, it's got to be put somewhere to dry, so it's going to be a little bit awkward to pick up, although I've got some areas that I can pick it up by, and I've found something I can balance it on at the end of the table while it dries. Yeah, that sounds like a plan too. Don't forget that, will you? And your gloves. The coat. Obviously it takes time to dry. If you take a look at it now, okay, it's had a coat. It only needs one coat, by the way, but if you do sand it, it's got to be very, very light. And you can see those incredible features of the wood, you know, the bird's eyes poking its way through. And the sort of green is a sort of transparent green. It's not a solid green, as some people might have thought that it would be. You can see right through the green into the wood. Looks really good from here. Maybe I'll put a few pictures up or something like that, but that's the first stage, and I have to say it does look, actually, if you almost never finished anything else, that looks pretty awesome, I must say. So let's hope that it continues along this route, and we end up with a fabulous build. I think it'll probably be okay, but there are a few stages, there are some difficult times ahead of it, and this actually wasn't too bad as a task, but as you saw, probably it's a bit hard to manipulate it. You know, you could hang it up somewhere or things like that. Well, I haven't got things like that in the room. I have to be careful what I do. I'm surrounded by, well, people that don't want me in here. Okay, well here we are, actually a day or two later, and it's all nicely dried with the sealer that we've just watched. And well, you can see, basically, I hope you can see how it's sort of brought out that grain and the rest of it. It's only get better from here on in. But well, what am I doing now? Well, what we have to do is we have to sort of flatten this without going through the sealer. And to do that, we're going to need something to do it with. And here it is, magically. This one says it's silicon carbide, electrode coated, waterproof, abrasive paper, and this one's CC25 P2000. And I can tell you that this stuff's really fine, and that's the sort of thing you really want. You pull it out, it's just, well, you can hardly feel any scratch on it, so to speak. You know, it's almost smooth. But that's the stuff I think you need to get this just as you want it. You don't want to do too much. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away now and do the body with this, and then I'm going to do the neck with it, and then we've got another little step we do before we get to actually getting near the spraying. It's all interesting. You'll probably see it speeded up or not. There's not much to look at, just a bit of sanding. Okay, well that's the body done, and you can see, just for your own information, I used that much, just one piece of the P2000 for the entire body. Another little tip is that as I was doing that, you probably saw yourself, I was feeling the body a lot. And when you feel the body like this, you can tell immediately anywhere where you need to just touch up a little bit. And what I've got now is a very, very smooth body that is sealed, and it's not going to give us any problem when we come to the top coats, because the top coat is a reflection of what's underneath. So if you get this right, it's all going to come out pretty well. I'm going to go and get the neck now and do the same. Okay, well I used the very same piece of material, the paper, and I just went over this very lightly, and if you noticed, again, you feel the way. You don't want to over rub because you'll go through what you put on there, but yeah, that's just about as right as I think it could be. Very, very smooth and raring to go, and that's how yours should be. But that's where we're at now, and the next thing you're going to want is some of these. No, they're not condoms. What they are, this is a particular brand from England. Basically they call them tack rags, if you've ever heard of that. And don't try open this with your teeth. Yeah, it's all about having these sort of sticky rags. They really are sticky. Of course they'll call them something else, but they were called tack rags. and it says on the front here, as used by professionals. Well, I'll have to do, you take one of these rags off, like so, and it is actually quite sticky. Yeah, really weird stuff. And what you're supposed to do is just wipe around, and I can tell you it does make a difference. All over the thing, and then basically you just let it dry, and it gets off all of the dust that's been put on there from the stuff you just did. Okay, well there you have it. This is absolutely smooth, really smooth, as if it was finished, but it isn't. Well, it's sort of finished. You can see that it's sort of brought out the grain. It's lovely and smooth, ready to spray on. As I said, I'll keep saying it, you know, the more prep you do, the better the prep you do, the better will be the finish later on. It's all there, it's all nice. And I recommend you really take your time on this sealing and the rest of it, you know, this very light rub down, and the neck's the same. I'll look at the neck. It's all absolutely dead smooth. Oh, and by the way, when we do spray it, we'll be spraying over the front of this. No problem, and it'll probably go over the frets. That's not a problem. And what you do is you just cut each side, and then the material will just lift off the frets. Yeah, I'll show you that, well, in another video. Well, what next? That's the question. Well, I think what could probably, I could do one of two things here. It's going to have a Fender logo because it's a Fender licensed neck on here. But whether I put that logo on now, or I put a coat on there of the top finish and then put the logo over that and then finish over that, well, that's a choice I've got to make. I might put it on here and see how it goes. Just got to be a little bit careful because they are water based, and I don't really want any more water on there than actually I need right now. When I've got a lacquer coat on it, it's a different story. You can just put anything you want on then. So I'll probably leave it, but if I change my mind, as I'm prone to do, then I'll show you that, and if not, you'll see it later. Well, that's it for this one. This is video 6, as I said. Yeah, so I'll be back. Video 7 will be coming along. It might be a short while on this section. Hope you like this one, and you know, it's easy to ignore it and oh, nobody cares and all that, but I'm telling you, this is critical. Yeah. So don't forget to go to www.tennymckenzie.com. It hasn't got this sort of thing on it, but it's got lots of reviews and stuff like that, and you might say, well, some of them are old, but actually there's some of the best gear in the world, so you might want to go and have a look at that. And that's about it. Oh, one last thing, of course, you need to stay safe. We've got all these versions of a virus around now from all over the world. Yeah, so you need to be careful about that. Don't forget. So until next time, get out of here and have a good one.